Military bridges. By the way, they add ground clearance. The military has 30 centimeter while the collective farmer has 22. But the military ones are slower, yet they dig in like crazy. There are many advantages, not a ton, but there are some. The main difference is the hub reducers on each wheel. The half shafts don't directly turn the wheels, they transmit torque to another gear through a gear mechanism. There is a large gear, which is with teeth facing inward, and a small one, which is in size with teeth facing outward. Well, let's say from the half shaft. Turn it off, David. All right. And this little one, it turns this big one inside with a few teeth, smoothly and efficiently. No, from a physical standpoint, it's fine, but knowing our quality, steel, and reliability, terrible. One day, of course, you'll make it to the war. In short, the Army UAZ is made for the Army, for fun. You can't put big tires on such bridges without some modifications. They will get caught on the leaf springs, and in retirement, all the calculations of Soviet engineers will be rendered useless, since the hubs are sunk deeper than those of the collective farmer. The gearboxes are more elegant and flat, less chance of getting stuck. There are both pros and cons as always with our vehicles, where it's good for the military because the service goes on anyway. For a layman, it's hemorrhoids, pain, and an unnecessary waste of money. But from an aesthetic point of view, military bridges are more brutal. Do you know why the UAZs don't change? Because they are perfection. This is statue of Davidich. Yes, David is like Michelangelo in the automotive world. Why is it? Without stopping, I have a record. Many people wonder why it hasn't changed much over so many decades. It's all the same. It seems like technology is moving forward. But somehow past Ulyanovsk? No, sometimes they go there. They stand for a long time at the entrance to the checkpoint, and while they are filling out the paperwork, they age mercilessly, and some die without ever reaching the car. We need to understand the main thing, why the car was created and for whom it was created. What lies behind its timeless appearance and simple design. And then all questions will be resolved. The UAZ 469 is not a continuation of the 69 model. The similarity in design's the same manufacturing plant. That's all that unites them. And also, and this is the main thing, the knowledge of the creators of the 469 model. The car was designed from scratch, based specifically on the experience of using frame SUVs during the Great Patriotic War. The new cars of the UAZ 452 and UAZ 469 family are built exclusively on components developed by the designers at the UAZ Design Bureau. I won't get into a debate, and to prove something, this is a topic for a separate story. I want you to understand that the UAZ is a benchmark rotting through. The benchmark, this is a versatile vehicle that hides several cars in one. The development of a new off-road vehicle for the Army began back in 1950. There were several promising developments, but the strict requirements of the Soviet Ministry of Defense left no room for creative freedom. And it was only in 1972 that the UAZ went into mass production. Are you still talking to me about the GAZ 69? Yes, the only thing they have in common is the open body and the frame construction. Everything else is its own. By the way, about the open body, it's versatile, you can judge for yourself. In this configuration, you can carry 5 people. You can fit 2 more in the back, and that's already 7. If you remove the back seats, which is really easy to do with a screwdriver, get a small truck.
And if you fold down the back panel, you can easily transport long items. The UAZ was never produced with a two-door body. He doesn't need that. It's 3 cars in one. It can confidently carry up to 700 kilos of cargo and tow a trailer of the same weight. It's heavy, but it can... The 69 handles, half a ton. You can completely take apart the front end. Well, it would be easier to fix, but no one does that. Well, why you can get to everything like that? By the way, engine. Yeah, it's a durable engine though, a bit weak. But it depends on how someone knows how to operate it. For some it's enough. And yes, this is the engine from the 21st Volga. It's practically from the 21st Volga with minor changes. OMZ 451, Z-Parting Para cylinder. 4-cylinder carbureted with a displacement of 24-45 cubic centimeters, producing 70 horsepower at 4,000 RPM. The maximum torque is 170 Newton meters at 2,200 RPM. The wires are shielded. So this is the UAZ 451My engine. By the way, the lifespan of UAZ engines 150,000 to 200,000 kilometers. People used to call this engine with shielded wires light music. In damp weather or if you dive into the water, it would start a light show, everything would sparkle. No one has definitely shown you this, because this is a special spark plug for an engine with shielded wires. You see, it doesn't really have a core. The spark plug is screwed in, and the wire screwed into the spark plug. So basically, they were immediately thrown in the trash. What else is interesting about the UAZ, besides the fact that it's a transition model from early to late? Now I'll explain why there's still a working gasoline preheater here. The principle of its operation is simple. First, the spark plug heats up, and there's a control coil here that lights up red. And then the turbine turns on and gasoline is supplied, and it heats up the... I've already turned something on, so it heats up both the coolant and the oil. If I made a mistake, guys, please correct me, because I'm afraid to start it so nothing goes wrong. Do you know what this thing is for? This is the only part that unscrews from the front to pull out the engine. And here's the grill. Actually, why early? Because originally on the early UAZs, the air was taken in not through this hole, Stalin, and through the vents, but here it's just blocked off. And on top there's just a grill for aesthetics. An early car, transitional. There's no interior here. This is a place to stay during a forced journey. You don't go to the sea to relax in a UAZ. You go in a UAZ to kill. Well, say fish. And the most expensive finishing materials are dermatin on the seats and real glass. On the instruments, four levers on the right, the aesthetics, phallic symbols. For simplicity's sake, who is this transport for? The handbrake doesn't count. The handle, the gearbox, and 2 levers for the transfer case. This is the most complicated thing in the car. And if you're dumb, they've put up signs for you. Read, survive however you can. Are there pockets in the doors or not? There are pockets where you can put in pomegranates. But I've always been curious about the same question. What are these stampings on all the doors for? If anyone knows, write it in the comments. Stop! First hit the bell and subscribe to the channel. Now write in the comments why these stampings are needed. Now I'm going to go back and you'll understand. Did you see that our engineers already ready for the age of new technologies? This is a tablet table for the Apple MacBook 100. 2 tables. The luxury package includes ambient lighting, individual curtains in the cabin. That's Rolls-Royce level. And did you see, Mane, the pen holders? It's like the umbrellas in a Rolls-Royce. Do you understand how forward-thinking our designers were for the future? In the era of new technologies. Yeah, they didn't give a damn about that Elon Musk because they came up with everything before him. Of course, that's a joke. This is most likely a vehicle for some kind of headquarters or communications personnel. Write in the comments. But the fact is, this is a unique car. You definitely haven't seen a transitional one like this. An old little stove, but there's already a new hazard button. Do you think, why are there tables in the UAZ? To look at the models from the company Modemio. Remember I told you about the LAZ 4202, which is a real one in the collection of real cars from the company Modemio. So they at least edit in scale, 1 to 43 LAZ 4202, an ancestor, so to speak, a dad. In short, it's a fascinating bus and it's right in front of you. It will be released by Modemio in issue number 12, but you can already place an order. The link is in the description. Go ahead. This is needed not by you, but by me. You've got a goat on the move. Tough. I didn't surprise anyone with that. If you weld a piece of scrap metal instead of shock absorbers, nothing will change. The maximum speed for military vehicles is 90, the limit of Gulag. Next, the gates to hell will open and they are already waiting for you there. To hell with rolling sinners. Still about the 469, which is a standalone. Here, the gearbox and transfer case are combined into one unit. Well, they're bolted together. The 69 had a little drive shaft just like on the Niva. By the way, there's an interesting story. When creating the Niva, the designers wanted to do the same thing, but the Italians didn't allow them. According to our agreement and regulations, we weren't allowed to make changes to the gearbox. That's how LGBT was born. The consumption on military axles is also higher by 1 to 2 liters. In a calm mode, according to the specifications, it's about 11, but it's in an ideal situation. Through the fields and puddles, it's about 20, but he keeps track there. Adjustable seat. Yeah, the traffic cop's wrench. Did someone sit down? The very first one in 1900, Lakmati, adjusted the seat to fit himself and left his butt print here for eternity. And then you sit down and adjust to it for the rest of your life. And do you know what else the military didn't like? The side windows couldn't be removed, so it was hard for them to shoot, but everything else was comfortable for them. Yes. Wow. In fact, the car is still being produced and UAZ is updated exactly as much as it needs to be. How ready are you to buy it? Not you with your soft hands and gadgets, but those who actually need it. And right away the question is there an alternative? Who is better? There aren't any, except for those that come to mind. It's expensive firewood sprinkled with golden dust and topped with a badge. UAZ is a combination of metal, creative thought, and objectivity. The golden mean between the strength of steel and the speed of its decay. Honestly, UAZs are awesome because everything is straightforward. Even a child can figure it out. Well, not the most modern child, but a typical one from our childhood. The steering wheel turns easily, and the gears shift. Well, they shift fine. And nothing can break. Because it's made of metal, and if it breaks, I'll go to the trash and find exactly the same piece of iron. If not, cut it out with a file. And after the 51st this, I got here, and I understand that this is an amazing foreign car. This is the easiest car that gives you not just pleasure and excitement from driving a proper vehicle. Hey David, I'm sending you greetings, don't overdo it with the push-ups. The UAZ, sorry for the analogy, is like a Swiss Army knife. Its simplicity is intimidating. Its appearance attracts and delights. You wait for it to be taken off the market, but if it is taken off the market, there will be a void in your soul. And you'll be the first wanting to buy it. And in a regular early off-roader, there are actually 3 cars hidden in one. And it takes talent to break it. What about the downsides? But the downsides aren't on my channel.